Hi guys, welcome. This is Watch and Learn Now, my online training channel. In this video, I'll be showing you how to create a payroll using Microsoft Office Excel. So we have our data set here. We have employee name, we have basic salary, number of days worked per employee, and other allowances such as housing, transport, accommodation, medical. Then we have feeding as well. But for feeding, it's 20,000 shillings per day for the number of days worked. Then we are informed, we're going to work on the assumption that for the other allowances, other than feeding, it is computed as a percentage of the basic salary. So for example, housing, it's 15%, transport, 18.9%, and so on. Whereas we have deductions, that is pay as you earn, and then NSSF. Then we are also informed that for pay as you earn, it's 30% of gross pay, which is this one here, whereas NSSF is 5% of the gross pay. Then at the end of it all, shall be required to compute the net pay, or call it the take-home salary. So let's get started. We shall say that equal sign to get the allowances. We are beginning with housing allowance, which is 15% of basic pay. Therefore, shall say 15% times basic pay, which is B6, we get the answer. Then the same thing here, equal sign. We have, it is transport, 18.9%, 18.9% times basic pay, we get the answer. Then we come to accommodation, it is 23, equal sign, 23.1% times basic pay, we get the answer. Then we come to medical. Medical is equal sign 17.4% times basic pay, we get the answer. Now the remaining task is to get gross pay. However, we haven't, because gross pay means overall total of all the earnings before deductions are made. Therefore, we need to include feeding allowance as well, which we are informed that it is 20,000 shillings per number of, according to the number of days worked. Therefore, if I may say equal sign 20,000 shillings, enter. That's for just one day. However, I need to multiply by the number of days worked. Therefore, actually, I'm not supposed to say 20,000 shillings. I'm supposed to say D4. Okay, so D4 gives me 20,000 shillings. But if I may multiply by number of days worked, for example, this one worked for 26 days, I'll get the answer, which seems to be valid. But when I try to drag downwards, you'll see that I'm getting an error. Why am I getting an error? We have what we call cell referencing. We have two major types of cell referencing. One of them is relative, which is the default one, and the other one is absolute cell reference. And with absolute cell reference and with relative cell reference, sorry, when you type a formula here, for example, I typed D4 times C4, okay? And then copy this formula by dragging the adjacent cell, like I've done here. Once I double click to check this formula, it's reading D5. Once I go ahead to drag throughout like this, okay? you see that the formula will keep updating to the new cell location. That's what we call relative cell reference, whereby it updates the formula relative to the new location. So in this case, why it's giving me invalid is because I'm pointing to cell D5, which is having the word housing. So in other words, I'm saying 20,000 shillings times housing, which doesn't make sense at all. Then that means that subsequently I'll be saying 20 times this one, which is this, but which is wrong as well. So then I'll as well say 20,000 times this one, which is empty. That's why I have a 0 here, and so on. So what we need to do is we need to use absolute cell reference so that when we are working out that formula, it keeps pointing to the same cell, which is D4 throughout. In other words, we want to keep pointing to that cell which is having 20,000 shillings, not any other cell. So for us to write a formula with absolute cell reference, we shall say, if I was to say D4, okay, I will instead say $sign D $4, so that it keeps pointing to the same cell throughout, even when I drag other cells below or whichever direction I want to take. Therefore, I'll say $sign D $4, meaning I'm pointing to D4. So once I press enter, yes, I have I'm working out gross, but so far I've been able to determine the feeding allowance. But I need to add all other allowances onto it. So I think those that did the mathematics talked about body mass. Let's begin by enclosing this in brackets so that it's worked out separately first. Okay, we get the answer of all feeding allowance. Then on top of that, we add all of these other earnings, such as basic pay, which is B6, plus housing, plus transport, plus accommodation, plus medical, hence giving us gross pay. Now that we are done computing gross pay, the remaining task is very simple. That is to get the deductions such as pay as you earn, which we are informed is 30%. Therefore, we shall say equal sign 30% times gross pay, giving us what we have got. Then NSSF, we shall say equal sign 5%, which is this one here, like this, 5% times gross pay, giving us the answer. Now we need to determine the net. And for us to get net pay, it is total earnings or gross pay minus deductions. Okay, so in other words, we shall say equal sign gross pay, which is H6 minus, now we need to get the sum of pay as you earn and NSSF. Therefore, we can still apply body mass here by saying bracket. We need pay as you earn plus NSSF, which is I6 and J6. So why are we putting it in the brackets? Is because we want first work. If you may recall body mass, you need first deal with the brackets, get the answer for the sum of the two cells. Then after getting the answer, we subtract it from the gross pay. So once we press enter, I think we have an error somewhere. I didn't close the brackets, but the system has been able to close it for me. So you can see that we have the gross pay we have the net pay as well. Now the remaining task is just to drag, to select all these cells and drag to populate for all other employees in our company. So it is as simple as that. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to share, to like, and to turn on the notifications for all other upcoming videos. Let's meet in subsequent videos.